You've already been manipulated today. You just don't know by who. It might have been the friend who guilt-tripped you into saying yes, the partner who used your love against you to win an argument, the boss who knows exactly which buttons to push because you've shown him every single one. You think you're hard to read. You're not. You announce your wounds in everything you do. What you laugh at, what makes you defensive, what you swear you don't care about. The people in your life have been studying you for years. Some of them love you, some of them are using you. The terrifying part is that you can't always tell the difference. Marcus Aurelius wrote a private journal because he understood this. As Emperor of Rome, he was surrounded by men whose entire job was to find his strings and pull them. So he became a man with no strings. Not cold, not numb, just unmoved. And what he wrote down can be used by anyone, including you. 12 principles. A doctrine for becoming the kind of person nobody can play. Not your ex, not your boss, not the people who've been doing it quietly for years. The first principle is the one most people get wrong. They think being impossible to manipulate means being closed off, distant, hardened. It's the opposite. The men and women who can't be played are the ones who feel everything and act on nothing they haven't chosen. Pay attention. Watch yourself the next time someone hits you with bad news, or a question they hope you can't answer, or a soft insult disguised as a joke. Your face moves before your mind does. Your jaw tightens. Your breath shortens. A flicker of hurt crosses your eyes before you can hide it. That flicker is everything. Manipulators are not reading your words. They are reading your micro-reactions. The half-second between stimulus and response is where they find out exactly what you can be played with. Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The strength is in the gap. Picture this. You're in a meeting. Your manager mentions, in front of the whole team, that the project you've been leading could use some fresh leadership. You feel the heat in your face. Your hands tighten on the table. Your stomach drops. Everyone in that room just saw your exact level of weakness, including the manager. Especially the manager. Or this. You're at dinner. Your partner says casually, "You know, I ran into your ex today." Your eyes flicker before your brain catches up. They watched it happen. They now know that information still has power over you. They have just gained a tool they didn't have an hour ago. Now picture the version of you who heard those same sentences and didn't move. Same words, same context, different person, 3 seconds of nothing. Then you nod, slow. Then you say one calm sentence. The room can't read you. The partner can't either. And suddenly the dynamic of the moment is different. The man who can hear, "Your father is dead," and not move for 3 seconds is unmanipulable. The woman who can hear, "Everyone hates you," and not flinch is untouchable. Train the gap. 3 seconds. That is principle 1. Most people get manipulated because they cannot name the move while it's being made on them. Your sister starts crying mid-argument to win it. You don't think this is emotional flooding. You think I'm being mean. I should stop. Your boss tells you the company is family before asking you to skip a paycheck. You don't think this is in-group obligation manipulation. You think I should be loyal. Aurelius would name the move in his own head, in real time, in plain language. Not to insult the person, to inoculate himself. Look at the people in your life right now. Your mother says, "Well, I just hope you're happy with the decisions you're making." That's not a wish. That's a guilt trip wrapped in a smile. Name it. Your partner says, "If you actually loved me, you would do this." That's not love, that's emotional blackmail. Name it. HR says, "We just want to align expectations and move forward." That sentence is what they say to you 10 minutes before they fire you. Name it. Your friend says, "Don't take this the wrong way, but..." And they are about to take a shot at you and disclaim the consequences. Name it. Your date says, "Wow, I usually don't open up like this to anyone." That's not vulnerability. That's the special snowflake hook. Name it. When you can silently label what is happening: guilt trip, love bombing, moving the goalposts, Darvo, appeal to authority, manufactured urgency, false consensus, the friend zone disclaimer. The spell breaks. You are no longer inside the move. You are watching it from above. Names are weapons. Use them silently. Whoever asks the question wins. Why are you always so defensive? Already a trap. Answering it concedes the premise. Don't you trust me? A trap. Both answers benefit them. Are you really going to make this a big deal? A trap. They've already labeled your concern a big deal. The manipulator's edge is in the frame they set. The Stoic's edge is in refusing it. Your manager says, "Are you a team player or not?" There is no winning answer. Yes means you'll skip the weekend with your family. No means you've labeled yourself a problem. Your partner says, "Why are you always more interested in your friends than me?" Answering it confirms a pattern you don't agree exists. Your friend says, "So are you finally going to grow up and get serious, or what?" Both answers concede that you haven't been. Your father says, "When are you going to stop chasing this little side hustle thing and get a real career?" There is no answer. The frame is the attack. Aurelius wrote that the obstacle becomes the way. The frame they set is the obstacle. Stepping outside it is the way. You don't have to answer their question. You can ask your own. What outcome are you actually trying to get to right now? Or simply, "I'm not engaging with that as you framed it." Or quieter. And then nothing. You don't owe anyone a yes or no inside their loaded language. Refuse the frame. You cannot be quoted on what you didn't say. You cannot be cornered by a position you didn't take. You cannot be played against your own words if there are no words. Aurelius observed that most regret comes from speaking, almost none from silence. Think about the last time you got into trouble. Was it because you stayed quiet? Or because you opened your mouth one sentence too long? The text you sent at 2 a.m. that you wish you could take back? The thing you said in the heat of an argument that your partner still references a year later? The opinion you shared at work that ended up in someone else's mouth 2 weeks later as ammunition against you? The story you told at the family dinner that has become the running joke they make at your expense every time you come home? None of it would exist if you'd held your silence. The people you fear most in a negotiation are the ones who don't talk. The people who run circles around you in arguments are the ones who say very little but watch everything. The boss who terrifies the office is the one who walks the floor in silence. The wealthy uncle nobody messes with at the table is the one who eats his food and listens. Silence is not passivity. Silence is a weapon held in reserve. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, justify yourself, fill the dead air, that is the manipulator's bait. They want your speech because your speech is ammunition. Speak less, watch more, win quietly. The fastest way to make yourself manipulable is to need them to think well of you. The friend who needs his crew's approval will betray his values to keep it. The employee who needs the boss's praise will work himself sick to earn it. The lover who needs their partner's reassurance will tolerate cruelty to receive it. Each one is being played because of the same defect. Their worth is in another person's hands. Aurelius wrote constantly to himself that the opinions of others are not him. They are vapors, weather. They change with whoever is in front of them. You feel this every day and don't notice. You post something on social media and refresh it 5 times, waiting for the likes to climb. That's a manipulation point you've installed in your own pocket. You let your partner's bad mood ruin your whole afternoon. That's your nervous system handing them the steering wheel. You stay late at a job that doesn't see you because you need someone in that building to say good job. You date someone who treats you average because their occasional approval feels like winning. You answer your family's calls even when they drain you because you need them to see you as the good son, the good daughter, the dependable one. Watch how it shows up. You're with friends. Someone makes a comment about your body. You laugh, even though it hurt. You laughed because their approval is worth more to you than your own dignity in that second. That trade, over and over again, is how you become a person who can be played by anyone with a steady supply of attention. When their approval stops moving you, their disapproval can't either. The moment that happens, you become invisible to manipulation. There is nothing left to pull. Build your worth in private. Confirm it in private. Live in it in private. Then no one outside can take it. Whatever you reveal, they will weaponize. Not always immediately. Sometimes years later. The information you give a person about what hurt you is the information they will reach for the moment they want leverage. This is why predators ask deep questions early. They are not interested in your soul. They are mapping your wounds. The third date where they ask, "What's your biggest fear?" That's not romance. That's reconnaissance. The new friend who says, "Tell me your worst experience growing up," before you've known each other a month. That's not bonding. That's data collection. The coworker who asks, "What's the hardest part of your marriage?" over coffee. That's not concern. That's positioning. The mentor who probes about your insecurities to help you grow. That's a leash they will use later, gently, every time you start outgrowing the relationship. Aurelius kept his journal hidden, not because he was secretive, because he understood that the inside of a man should not be available for inspection. You do not owe anyone your trauma. You do not owe anyone the names of the things that broke you. You do not owe anyone access to the rooms inside you that are still healing. When someone asks, give them weather. Give them outline. Do not give them maps. The person who deserves your real story is the person who has earned 5 years of watching you live, not the person who asked on date 3. Your pain should be private. Your healing should be private. Your power begins where the public ends. That's 6. If you stopped right here and only practiced these 6, you would already be ahead of 90% of the people who will play in your life this year. But the next 6 are the ones that make you ungovernable. The ones that don't just protect you, they put you on the other side of the game. Stay with me. There is a moment between what they do and what you do. That moment is the entire game. Aurelius trained this moment relentlessly. The Stoics called it prosoche, close attention to the gap. 7 seconds. That is enough. Watch yourself with your phone. The text comes in. You read it. You feel the impulse to reply within 3 seconds because you don't want them to think you're ignoring them. That impulse is the leash they've put on you. They didn't put it there. You did. And you tighten it for them every time you reply that fast. 7 seconds of breath before you respond to the message. 7 seconds before you agree to the favor. 7 seconds before you laugh at a joke that wasn't funny, just to keep the peace. 7 seconds before you say yes to plans you actually don't want. 7 seconds before you click reply on the work email at 9 p.m. on a Sunday. 7 seconds before you swipe right on the person who you already know is wrong. 7 seconds before you walk back into the room your partner stormed out of to fix it before the fight needed fixing. In those 7 seconds, you become a strategist instead of a hostage. Most manipulation works because the target reacts inside 1 second. Reduce no one to that, especially yourself. The pause is not hesitation. The pause is the throne. Sit in it before you speak. Aurelius kept a slave behind him during triumphal processions, whose only job was to whisper into his ear, "Remember, you are mortal." Not to depress him, to free him, because the man who remembers his own death cannot be manipulated with the small fears that drive everyone else. The fear of looking bad, the fear of missing out, the fear of being disliked. Those fears require you to forget you're going to die. The moment you remember, the leverage drops to 0. Your aunt makes a comment at the cookout about your weight. You feel the burn rise. Now ask yourself, in 15 years, when one of us is gone, will I wish I had defended myself harder over a sentence at a backyard table? The answer is no. Your coworker takes credit for your project in a meeting. The rage hits. Now ask, in 30 years, when I am at the end of my career, will this one stolen win define my story? The answer is no. Your ex posts something online intended to bait you. The urge to respond is acid in your chest. Now ask, on my last day on this earth, will I remember a single one of these reply comments fondly? The answer is no. The person who cut you off in traffic, the cousin who didn't invite you to the wedding, the follower who left a comment designed to make you doubt yourself. Each one tries to take a piece of your finite life. Each one only succeeds if you forget how finite it is. Memento mori is not morbid. It is the cleanest filter against small manipulation that exists. Your time is finite. Spend it being unmovable. The Stoic is not a robot. The Stoic is a strategist with values that cannot be bent. Your principles must be known. Your tactics must not. Everyone in your life should know what you will and will not tolerate, where the lines are, what you stand for. But no one should be able to predict your moves. When you will say yes, when you will say no, when you will engage, when you will walk away. If your boss can predict that you will always cave for the bigger paycheck, he owns you. If your partner can predict that you will always forgive after exactly 2 days of cold shoulder, they own you. If your family can predict that you will always come to Thanksgiving no matter what was said last time, they own you. The friends who know you will always pay for the meal because you don't like the awkwardness of splitting the check. They own that part of you. The follower who knows you will always reply to a hateful comment because you can't stand the disrespect. They own your night. The relative who knows you will always send money when they hint at hardship. They own your wallet. You are predictable. They are running a script on you, and you don't even know what the script says. Predictable principles inspire trust. Predictable tactics invite exploitation. Aurelius made his values legible across an empire. His daily moves were a black box. Be a wall in your values. Be a shadow in your moves. Every favor comes with a hook attached. Every gift creates a debt the giver intends to collect. This is not cynicism. This is observation. The senior colleague who buys you the drink at the office, happy hour. He's investing. The brand that sends you the free product. They're not gifting, they're acquiring. The friend who suddenly covers your dinner without being asked, track that one. The partner who showers you in gifts in month 1 and then says, after everything I've done for you in month 4. You watched it happen in real time and didn't see it. The aunt who paid for your first car. She is going to remind you of that car at every family argument for the next 40 years. The friend who let you crash at their place for 2 weeks. They are now mentally building a tab in their head that you will pay back at interest in loyalty you didn't agree to. The follower who DMs you encouragement every week for free until one day they ask for something, and you feel obligated even though you never asked for the encouragement. Aurelius understood that obligation is the oldest currency of control. The Roman patron-client system ran on it for 1,000 years. It still runs now. We just call it networking, generosity, and love. This does not mean refusing all generosity. It means tracking it, knowing exactly what you owe, to whom, and why, so that when the day comes that they call in the debt, you are ready to settle it deliberately, not panicked, not pressured, not played. Track every favor, pay it back fast. Owe no one anything you cannot afford to lose. Some of the people in your life are not your friends. They are studying you. You feel it sometimes. The friend who knows exactly which compliment to drop when you're about to make a move that doesn't serve them. The cousin who shows up when you start winning and disappears when you don't. The mentor who teaches you only enough to keep you slightly behind him. Pay attention to who got quiet when your career took off. Pay attention to who suddenly had nothing to say when you started losing weight. Pay attention to who unfollows you the week your big news goes public. Pay attention to which family member never congratulates you on the wins, but is always the first to call when something goes sideways. Those are not coincidences. Those are tells. Pay attention to the friend who keeps reminding you of the old version of yourself, in the room, in public, in front of new people. That's not nostalgia. That's a reminder for you and a warning for everyone else of who you really are. Pay attention to the partner who says they support you and then mocks the dream every time it gets brought up in front of their friends. That's not jest. That's containment. Aurelius watched this in the Senate every day. He kept his real circles small, 3 or 4. The rest were observed, not trusted. Once a year, pick a date, sit down and ask, who in my life would still be here if I were broke tomorrow? Who would still take my call if I had nothing to offer them? Who would have my back if I lost the title, the money, the platform? That short list is your real circle. Everyone else is weather. The audit is not cold. The audit is clarity. This is the final form. Most people live inside their reactions. They are the anger. They are the hurt. They are the want. They never step out of it. The Stoic is not the reaction. The Stoic is the one watching the reaction. When your partner says something cruel in an argument, the unmanipulated version of you notices the impact, names what just happened. That was a low blow designed to wound, not communicate, feels the hurt move through your body like weather, and then chooses your response from a place above it. The reactive version of you swings back, escalates, gives them exactly what they needed to make you the villain. When your boss embarrasses you in a meeting, the watcher notices the heat in the chest, names the move, and decides, not in the heat, what to do about it. The reactor goes home and quits in a fury, or worse, says something they can't take back in the room. When a stranger online tries to bait you with a comment, the watcher sees the bait sitting on the hook and walks past it. The reactor swallows it whole and then spends 2 hours of their finite life arguing with someone whose name they'll never remember. When manipulation lands, the watcher feels it. The watcher does not become it. This is not detachment, it is sovereignty. Aurelius spent every morning of his life practicing this, stepping outside himself. watching the man, Marcus, the way a king watches a vassal, loving him, disciplining him, but never confused for him. When you live there, in the watcher's seat,